It was a gray and somber day, the kind that seems to mirror the heaviness in people's hearts. Family, friends, and loved ones gathered in quiet grief to say goodbye to Brandon Blackstock, Kelly Clarkson's ex-husband and the father of her 2 children. The funeral, intimate yet filled with emotion, became more than just a farewell. It was a moment of reflection on a life once intertwined with one of music's most celebrated voices. But it was Kelly Clarkson's heartfelt tribute that broke the dam for many, bringing tears to even the most stoic faces. Her words were raw, real, and unguarded, a reminder that even after love changes shape, the bonds of family and shared history remain unbreakable. Brandon Blackstock was more than just Kelly Clarkson's ex. He was a father, a son, a friend, and a man whose life touched many in ways the public never fully saw. Known in the music industry for his work as a talent manager, he had spent years supporting artists, building careers, and navigating the fast-paced, high-pressure world of entertainment. But away from the stage lights, Brandon was a devoted father to his children with Kelly, River Rose, and Remington Alexander. Those who knew him personally remember his quiet humor, his love of the outdoors, and his fierce protectiveness over his family. The service was held in a private setting, shielded from cameras and flashing lights. White flowers adorned the space, their soft fragrance mingling with the sound of gentle music. Friends and family spoke in hushed tones, sharing memories and offering comfort to one another. Kelly arrived with her children, holding them close as they walked into the chapel. She kept her composure, but those nearby could see the weight in her eyes. Despite the end of their marriage, there was no bitterness in her presence, only respect, grief, and a desire to honor the father of her children. When it was her turn to speak, the room fell completely silent. Kelly stood before the crowd, her voice trembling at first, but growing steady as she spoke from the heart. "Life has a way of taking us on paths we never expected," she began. "Brandon and I shared years together, filled with laughter, challenges, music, and the joy of raising 2 incredible kids. No matter what changes came, he was and will always be an important part of our story. Today we say goodbye, but we also say thank you for the memories, for the lessons, and for the love that will live on through our children." Her words resonated deeply, not just because of their sincerity, but because they reflected a truth rarely spoken, that love can evolve, but it never truly disappears when there's shared family and history. Although the service was private, word of Kelly's moving tribute quickly spread. Fans from around the world expressed their condolences and admiration for her grace during such a painful moment. Social media was flooded with messages of support for Kelly, her children, and Brandon's family. Many were struck by her ability to put aside personal differences in the face of loss, focusing instead on honoring the man who once shared her life. In the days following the funeral, those close to the family have spoken about the need to protect River and Remington during this difficult time. Kelly, known for her fierce devotion to her children, has been doing everything possible to ensure they feel loved, supported, and safe as they navigate their grief. While the road ahead will be challenging, the family's unity during the service was a sign that even in loss, love remains the strongest force of all. Brandon Blackstock's passing has reminded many of the fragile nature of life, how quickly the chapters we think will last forever can come to an end. In moments like this, the noise of daily life falls away, leaving only the truths that matter: love, connection, and the legacy we leave behind. His story is more than a timeline of events. It is the quiet moments, a laugh shared over coffee, the sound of his children's voices calling for him, the long conversations that stretched late into the night. It is the way he could light up a room without needing to be the loudest in it, and the way he made those around him feel seen and heard. Though his professional work in the music industry brought him success and recognition, his greatest role, the one that mattered most, was being a father to River Rose and Remington Alexander. That role is where his heart truly lived, and it's where his legacy will endure the longest. Every bedtime story read, every scraped knee bandaged, every proud smile at a school event, those moments are now woven into the fabric of his children's memories, shaping the way they will remember their father for the rest of their lives. Kelly. Clarkson's tribute was more than just a formal goodbye. It was an emotional bridge that spanned years of shared life. Standing at the front of the chapel, her voice carried both the weight of grief and the warmth of gratitude. She spoke not as a global superstar, but as a woman who once loved deeply, built a life with someone, and brought 2 children into the world with him. Her words acknowledged the complexities of their relationship. That love stories don't always end the way they begin, and that life can take people down separate paths. Yet, in that moment, none of the headlines, court battles, or public speculation mattered. What remained was the simple truth. They were family, and they always would be because of the children they shared. Kelly's speech resonated far beyond the chapel walls. It was a reminder that respect and compassion can coexist with the ending of a marriage. It was proof that grief doesn't require romantic love to still ache deeply, and that honoring someone's life is one of the purest acts of humanity. As the final notes of the last song echoed through the room, there was a stillness that felt almost sacred. The gentle rustle of tissues, the soft sniffles from the pews, and the steady hum of the organ created a soundscape of shared sorrow. White lilies and roses lined the front of the chapel, their fragrance mingling with the faint scent of polished wood and candle wax. Guests lingered in their seats even after the service had officially ended, reluctant to leave the space where so many raw emotions had been laid bare. Old friends embraced like long-lost family. Colleagues who had worked with Brandon in the industry spoke in hushed tones, recalling stories that would never be told on stage or in interviews. The small acts of kindness he had offered behind the scenes. There was no denying the sadness. That hung in the air. But alongside it was an undeniable current of gratitude. Gratitude for the years shared. Gratitude for the children who would carry his spirit forward. Gratitude for the lessons learned, some joyful, some difficult, that shaped the lives of those who knew him best. In many ways, the funeral became a mirror, reflecting back to each mourner the importance of the relationships in their own lives. It served as a silent urging to make the call you've been putting off, to forgive the person you've been holding a grudge against, to tell the people you love that you love them while you still can. Brandon's legacy is not confined to the records he helped produce or the careers he supported. His legacy is alive in the way his son will remember his encouraging words before a big game, or the way his daughter will remember his laughter filling the kitchen on Saturday mornings. It is in the way friends will recall his loyalty, the way family will cherish his presence at every gathering, and the way Kelly will always see pieces of him in the children they raised together. His story now lives on in these memories, passed down in conversations at family dinners, in the framed photos that will always find a place on a shelf, and in the quiet moments when his absence will be felt the most. In the days after the service, life will inevitably move forward. It always does. The children will return to school, friends will go back to their jobs, and Kelly will continue her work while navigating the delicate balance of grief and parenthood. But moving forward does not mean forgetting. It means carrying the lessons, the laughter, and the love with you. It means honoring his memory by living fully, by being present for the people still here, and by ensuring that his children grow up knowing who their father was and how much he loved them. Even though Brandon and Kelly's paths diverged years ago, there is an unseen thread that binds them, the shared history, the love for their children, and now the grief of loss. That thread cannot be severed by divorce, distance, or even death. It is a connection that will continue to shape both their lives in ways that are deeply personal and often invisible to the outside world. And in that, there is a certain beauty, the reminder that relationships can evolve, yet still hold profound meaning. As the mourners finally began to leave the chapel, the sun broke through the clouds outside, casting a warm glow over the steps where people gathered to hug, cry, and share memories one last time. Kelly held her children close as they stepped into the car, her expression one of both sorrow and strength. In the end, the service was not just a farewell to Brandon Blackstock, the man, but a celebration of the life he lived and the people he touched. It was a reminder that every ending carries traces of the beginning, and that love, in its many forms, is the thread that weaves our stories together. And as those who loved him carry his memory forward, one thing remains certain. Though his voice may be silent now, the echoes of his life will never fade.